Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. If you don't know me, my name is Angela and I find my paradise through reading. And today I am going to share with you my spooky October TBR. I have been working on this and reading some of these books already, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even shared my October spooky TBR. I've been slacking. I've just been so busy with just enjoying the fall and doing all kinds of activities. But I did pick out some spooky books a couple weeks ago, and I finished 2 of them already so far. Now, disclaimer here, I'm a wimp when it comes to spooky stuff. So when I did pick my spooky TBR, it's, for those who are into horror and, very, very gory stuff, this is going to be super light. I just want something that's slightly spooky, a little disturbing, but won't give me nightmares for the rest of my life and will not require me to go through some expensive therapy sessions. So just keep that in mind, okay? Just some light, spooky, just some fun. I still want to enjoy reading. I do not want to be scared to read. Okay, so anyways, to get started, I'm going to start off with some of the 2 books that I already read. Okay, so the first one that I read was Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott. Look at this. Okay, so this I had gotten last year, and I'd been wanting to read it, and I was like, I'm just going to hold off until October, and I'm going to read it for my spooky TBR. Because it's supposed to be pretty spooky. This is basically, there's this old cottage that walks around on chicken legs. And there are these 2 siblings, they're adults, that they inherited this house from their grandmother who had been dead for 70 years. But in her will, she wanted the house to go to them 70 years after her death. And both of these adults, they have special abilities that they try to, sometimes they try to suppress them or whatever. And so they get this walking cottage on chicken legs. They're curious about it. Their life has been they've had a pretty difficult life and very unordinary life. And then there's this creature, humanoid, human-like being, evilness, that is looking for this house. And he is very creepy, and he is causing destruction, chaos, and death all along his path. And it's just awful. So there's a lot of this is a lot about family, about history, about some really sad things that actually happened in real life. So there was a lot of sad in this book, but a lot of creepy, bad things. So I actually did enjoy this book a lot. Aside from this cottage, and we're talking about modern day, they had cell phones and things like that, so I don't know how you kind of had to ignore in the book that there's a house walking around on chicken legs and people aren't, they maybe kind of think it's normal, or they're not so surprised by it, which I think was really odd. But yeah, there's a lot of odd things that happen in this book that just seems to just be whatever. I don't know, but you get past that and you focus on the story. I think it was really written really well, and it was fun, it was enjoyable, kind of creepy. I liked it. Okay, and the next one that I read, no lie, I did not see this movie, and this is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I had always caught bits and pieces of this movie in passing, and I remember there was people with button eyes, and it just seemed like a really creepy kids movie, kind of like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I couldn't get with it. I don't know, it gave me the heebie-jeebies. I was like, nope, not for me. But I was like, let me pick up the book. I found this, I think, at a thrift store, and so I was like, let me read it. And I started it this morning, and I finished it, and I liked it. It was creepy, as I thought. I don't know if this is supposed to be a children's book, but what kind of nightmares are you trying to give kids? Like, seriously, this is yeah, no. But basically, this is about this girl, Coraline, who's in this house. She lives with her, mom and dad, and I guess this house is separated into different apartments. And there's some kind of access to like another world in this house where they're trying to like trap her and keep her there, and it's just crazy. It's crazy and creepy and weird. But I did have a great time with this book, and I'm glad I read it. I probably still will not watch the movie, but I'm glad I read the book. Okay, next I have, oh no, let me show you the book that I'm reading now. So after I put down Coraline, I picked up The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure what this is about. So let me read this. I think this is about an artist who painted a portrait of a guy named Dorian Gray, who was just absolutely gorgeous or whatever. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the painting ages and he doesn't. He wishes aloud that the roles were reversed, saying that he would give his soul if only the painting would suffer the ravages of time and he were to remain young forever. As the old adage goes, be careful what you wish for. So I hear it's supposed to be like kind of creepy, kind of bizarre. So that's why I picked this. And it's also on my list of 100 greatest books ever written. I have heard amazing reviews about this book and how beautifully it was written. I'm already just highlighting a whole bunch of just beautiful sentences, and I'm only 18 pages in. I think I just did like one chapter, and I'm enjoying it so far. I really am. So that is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Okay. Then we have Verity by Colleen Hoover. This was lent to me by a colleague. She had let me borrow, actually not even let me borrow because I didn't ask for it. She just, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. So she was like, oh my gosh, I read this, you gotta read it. I read it, I liked it. And then she just, right away gave me Verity by Colleen Hoover, which I hear is pretty disturbing. Not sure what it's about. Struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Lowen to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Lowen arrives at the Crawford home, ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Lowen doesn't expect to uncover is the chaotic office. What Lowen doesn't expect to uncover in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night her family was forever altered. Lowen decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents could devastate the already grieving father. But as Lowen's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, oh boy, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue loving her. A standalone romantic thriller. Okay, romantic thriller. This sounds a little bit like, what do they call that? Toxic attraction, fatal attraction maybe? Ooh, or somebody gets invited into your home and then this person just decides to like take over. I don't know. This sounds like it's gonna be disturbing. I'm here for it. Let's see how I do. Okay. Okay. There's this one, Werewolves by Kelly Armstrong. This is a trilogy, and I had I had read the first book called Bitten years ago. So, and it just stuck with me. It just stuck with me so much. It was like a book that I had gotten from a little free library, and I didn't know it was a part of a trilogy, and I just didn't want it to end. So I read that first book. And then I returned it back to the little free library, and here I am probably 10 years later. It feels like 10 years. I found the trilogy and I was like, yes, let's do it. So I'm gonna reread Bitten and go from there. So basically this is Werewolves. This is about, what's her name? Elena, and she is the last female werewolf. So she does not want to be part of the pack anymore. She left the pack years ago. She left her mate, or who's supposed to be her mate, or whatever it was, and she just wanted a regular life. So she's a journalist, has a cute apartment, has a boyfriend who's normal, and so she's hiding her wolfishness. Like, she'll go out on a run at night, and I mean, the girl can run, okay? Or she will like lift weights at the gym, and she'll, if somebody's around, she'll like try to not show how strong she is, because she's strong as all hell. But something happens. There's some kind of a disturbance going on. The pack is like, you need to come back. This is like an emergency. So she goes back, and there's just stuff happening that she has to get involved. And there's just oh my gosh. And then there's like love happening within the pack, her and, oh, I wish I remember what his name was, but ooh, that was spicy. It was just, oh, this book is so good. It's so good. And the way that they describe how it feels when you're changing from like human to werewolf. And she used to like, because she wanted so much to be normal, like she would fight against the change. And so it would feel like her bones were like breaking and rearranging themselves into like the shape of a wolf, which you can imagine like had to be like excruciatingly painful, because you're like just fighting against that nature. But oh my gosh, the details and the descriptions and the characters, and some parts of this book just made me cry out loud, or it creeped me out. Like it was really some scary stuff. And the way that they write the fear, I remember there was this one scene where she got close to being caught by like this kind of like a serial killer. I think he was like killing werewolves, or what he was doing, I forget what it was, but she was so scared, and she was like in wolf form, and she like couldn't change out of her wolf form because she was so panicked and so scared, and she was like biting and scratching everybody. And just like her fear was so intense, and it was just, this is a fun book. And so I'm excited, so super excited to reread it and read on to the other two. The second one is called Stolen. Now this one says vampires, demons, shaman, witches. In Stolen, they all exist, and they're all under attack. Okay, so this one's got more than werewolves. So this is definitely an October book. This is definitely. And then the third book is Beginnings, which is, I guess, the prequel to Bitten, which tells the story of how Clay and Elena met. So Clay is her werewolf mate. And let's go. I'm ready for this. After like going through all this, like now I like borderline want to put down the picture of Dorian Gray and read this instead. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, no, focus. Focus. Because I'm still going through Les Miserables. Okay, so I'm like halfway through Les Mis. So let's just, and that's enough. So between Les Mis and The Picture of Dorian Gray, I'm just gonna have 2 books going at a time right now. Whereas usually I sometimes have 3 or 4 books going at once, but this time I'll keep it at 2. Okay. Last one, which I think might be the creepiest. I don't know. Looks creepy. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Let's just stop right there. I can't. Look, sir, I apologize. I'm sorry. I really don't know how your name. Alex Michaelides. Look, dude, whatever. Anyways, The Silent Patient by this fellow right here. I think this has something to do with an insane asylum, which is super creepy right off the bat. So let me see. Alicia Berenson's life is seemingly perfect until one night when her husband Gabriel returns home late from work and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. I hope that wasn't a spoiler. She shoots her, like right off the bat, shoots her husband 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. Okay. Alicia's refusal to talk or give any kind of explanation turns a domestic tragedy into a mystery that captures the public imagination. And she, the silent patient, is hidden away from the tabloids at the Grove, a secure psychiatric unit in North London. There we go, psych ward. Criminal psychotherapist Theo Faber is captivated by Alicia's story and jumps at the opportunity to work with her. His determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband will take him down a path more unexpected and more terrifying than he ever imagined. That sounds creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. That sounds like some mess. What is that place? Ooh, that with Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, it was. Oh, I wish I could remember that movie because that's what this is kind of reminding me of, and it sounds like really, really, really creepy. Guys, this is how my brain works. Anytime I'm trying to think of something. Leonardo DiCaprio. It wasn't a haunting. Shutter Island, I think. That sounds legit. Shutter Island. That kind of reminds me of that. Like, oh man, this sounds really good too. I think this might be the creepiest one out of all of them. I think. Although, we'll see. So, like I said, this isn't like super horror. This isn't paranormal hauntings, things like that. Gory. There's a little bit of goriness in the werewolves, but they're werewolves. So what do you expect? I don't know. But it's nothing like something that really, really, really terrifies me, like Pet Sematary or Evil Dead or things like that. So I don't know. I'm taking it light. I used to be a really big fan of horror. I used to love Dean Koontz, love Stephen King. I mean, I was all for it. And then as I got older and I just my mind, okay, let's call it what it is, anxiety, okay? I have anxiety. This stuff will mess with my head all day and I will be paranoid. I will just be feeling like everything is out to get me. I don't watch horror movies anymore. But I want to get into like a little bit of the spookiness and then maybe develop a healthy enjoyment of being a little bit scared. So let's see how that goes. Anyways, So thank you so much for sticking with me this long, and yeah, letting me share with you what my spooky TBRs reads are for the month of October. And let me know if you have any recommendations on anything that's kind of slightly spooky and is not going to scare the bejesus out of me, and that I can add to, you know, kind of mix up a little bit of like genres and what I'm reading from time to time. Let me know, and let me know what you're reading for October, and if you like to read spooky books or horror during the month of October. Anyways, so good night all. Happy reading. We'll be in touch soon. I'll talk to you soon.